And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to F1 2020 Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Baku. Is the F2 races first, the feature race, then the sprint race, but right before that we have the one-shot qualifying, which is what the drivers are prepping for first. And joining me, Ben McConnell, in the commentary box is the awesome Safso. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Dandy. How are you doing?
I mean, it's Baku. This has always shown to be is chaos. Always chaos. And the F2 races are chaotic in themselves as it is. Bring it to the environment that we are in here, it's only going to get more spicy. So, I want a 1, 2, 3 from you, please.
Qualifying?
Yeah, qualifying first.
Okay, qualifying, I'm going to say... Beaker, Nixana, Aviator.
Okay. There are some familiar faces that you guys may or may not notice. I'm going to go for the obvious ones. So obviously the Beaker, Piloto Paya, Lando's Milkman, Aviator, etc, etc. There are some old celebrity faces in here as well. So, for example, obviously Hayden Gullis is back. We have Foxy here. More notably, we have Amkasa here. Don't know if you've ever seen him drive. I haven't seen him drive in F1 since F1 2018. He's not the best, but he's going to do it for the memes, he said. So here he is. My 1, 2, 3, I think you're right. I think Beaker's definitely going to be on pole, although Tortor's looking unstoppable right now. He's right out there. So maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to go Beaker. I'm going to go Tortor. I'm going to go Nixana.
I think our timings might be different then, because Tortor's not showing at all on my center, or not showing at all. He's in 11th on my end.
Oh, he's showing P1 for me.
For me, it is showing Aviator on P1.
Oh.
So, I mean, for all we know, it could be just that I'm glitching and Tortor is actually in the lead.
Well, I think Tortor is actually in the lead. I've just skipped between the two of them. I do think he actually is in the lead. Tortor may actually get pole position here. Let's see now as they come through Ping and Pong onto the back straight, the home straight. This is going to be where most of the overtakes will happen, both in the F2s and the F1s, because this is a massive tow and DRS straight. In fact, a lot of the lap is actually just prepping yourself for this run. I wouldn't be surprised to see people going for it. Oh, Tortor did invalidate. Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't get a time in. I think he must have been bugged for me then.
Okay. So... yeah, I think you just said Beaker on pole, didn't you? And then you didn't have time to do 2 and 3.
Well, I said Beaker, Tortor, and Nixana,
okay.
But yeah, okay. I mean, Tortor debated me by showing himself at the top. Clearly he wasn't. So yeah.
At least we both got pole. We can take that to our graves.
Did you put Aviator in your top 3? I think you did. I'm pretty sure you mentioned Aviator.
I think I said Beaker, Nixana, Aviator.
Yeah, so well, you got 2 out of 3, so that's not bad. But Beaker is the one who gets the most important position in these F2 races because you get 4 points to kickstart your weekend. He's already on track to get himself a perfect weekend run. Pavel gets P2, Aviator P3, it's Piloto Paya P4, Nixana P5, Marquez P6, Dazzlerduck P7, Tiger Jr. P8, Freeware P9, Lando's Milton rounding out the top 10. Tortor gets best of the rest with Raven Duck in tow. WG plays 13th, Roshko 14th, Helen Badger 15th, Mini Duck 16th, Hayden Gullis in 17th, Foxy 18th, and our only DQ, and then followed by an Amkasa smash, is Amkasa. So, obviously, qualifying, Beaker's looking pretty good. As this actually seems to be his calling. F2 cars seem to be something he just naturally takes to and is able to do really, really good at. So now, I'm going to probably give you the easiest 1, 2, 3 prediction question ever, at least for a win. Who is your 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Beaker is by far the favourite for the win. In terms of second, that's a much more interesting conversation because it was very close at the top. So I'm going to say... Pavel got second, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pavel and then Aviator.
Yes. Considering what Aviator has shown so far in this game, I think he's going to nab second from Pavel. And then for third, it's between Nixana and Pavel. I think Pavel's going to keep third. I think he's going to stay in the top 3. But, of course, Piloto there as well. I'm going to say Beaker, Aviator, Pavel.
Well, everybody is on the medium tyres. There are no surprise tyre choices here. Obviously, the drivers don't get to choose them. The game dictates it to them, but at least they're all on the level playing field. So, Bika currently the leader, although not leading this formation lap, as it looks like. Who even is that? Is that Marquez? Marquez and somebody else. Foxy. Foxy doing his usual strategy of who can win the formation lap.
Well, Marquez is catching up to him. He's lining up for a move.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should be commentating this little
He's
battle.
in the toe, ready for an overtake round the outside. No, but just going back to it, I think the other thing to think about is how difficult castle section is, especially in these F2 cars. These guys will be driving these more in the F1 than the F2 cars, so they're going to be finding it much harder to sort of get the timing just right, and it's a very small margin of error anyway. Before, oh, that's a mistake. Foxy's rotated. Marquez is going to get reset as well as a result, and yes, he has. So that's Foxy and Marquez joining the others back up, and Bika as well. As apparently he's had a contact. I don't see who that was there.
It might have been Hayden because he got disqualified as well.
Yeah.
And that's nearly half the field disqualified from the formation up now.
The tyres are going to be freezing as well. That's the problem.
Yeah. Bika's going to struggle in the start.
Yeah. Well, problems all around then. We shall see how this fares off. But we do have Pavel out there still keeping his tyres warm. Dazzler Duck out even further. He's keeping his... He's going to be nice and toasty, and that's going to be needed. Not necessarily for turn 1, although the braking zone is going to be quite important. These guys that have all got the cold tyres need to be careful they don't accidentally run into the back of other people due to them being caught out from the freezing cold temperatures that the tyres are going to find themselves in. They're going to have to be very, very smart through 1, 2, and even 3, to be truthfully honest, because that's the main danger zones on lap 1. And I guess realistically, my question to ask you, Safso, is how many people do you think are actually going to make it to the end of this race?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we lose half the field. That's a bold call, but I am predicting at least 5 retirements.
All right, so you're going 5. I think it's a bit more than 5. I think you're right. It could go nearer half field. I'm going to go... I'll just kind of split it down a little bit. I'm going to go for 8.
Okay. That's
8 retirements. But here we go then. We are all on the grid almost. We have a few drivers just trickling into the back, getting into their grid boxes and ready to get started with this race. Obviously, it is going to be 7 laps because it's a 25% feature race. Then we move into the sprint race where, again, it is another 25% race. Probably going to end up being around about 5 laps. We shall see. But in these F2 cars, those laps can feel like an eternity in comparison to what you can do in the F1 car. So here we go then. We are all on the grid. The lights are on, ready to go. Now the lights may go out, but hold your horses. Oh, a bit of a jump start there from 2 of them. That is Toto. No penalties being given for them. I don't know how they managed to be able to get away with such a clean and quick start. Bika had a bit of an issue coming into towards turn 1. He's been clipped. He's been rotated. That is not good news for him at all. And that's allowed Aviator to run away. Nixana as well. Lots of contact happening further down the field as well. Miniduck getting himself a 2-second penalty for colliding with Roshko. And major issues for a fair few drivers. And that's a rotation. That's Tiger Jr. He's had a contact with the wall. I think Miniduck has had the same sort of situation as well. Bika right at the back of the field now due to his contact that he had. I don't know if he actually caused himself to lose control or whether or not he got hit. But I know that he got hit the second time round.
Yep. It's been a bit of a kerfuffle at turn 3 as well. Bika's also lost his left end play, I want to point out. So it's going to be even harder now for him to try and get back into the points, as he is, I believe, trying to get past Miniduck there, but that's really not an optimal start for Bika. Meanwhile, up front, it's not too far away between Aviator and Ixana, so at least we will be having a battle for the win, just not who we thought it'd be.
Roshko having a bit of a moment there. He actually cut that corner quite severely. This doesn't benefit you in any way. He actually lost out a lot of time as a result of that. We've got Aviator leading this Grand Prix with Nixana relatively close, within that DRS range, which is quite crucial in this circuit. This is quite a heavy DRS track, so you need to make sure you're in it, otherwise you will lose out dramatically. Freeware all over the back of Pavel though. This could be good news for him if he can get the move done quite quickly and close back into Nixana before the DRS is enabled on lap 3. So he's got 1 lap to make a move on Pavel, but Piloto Paya is right there on the back of him.
Yeah, I think Piloto's just going to stay back, see what happens with these two, and collect any broken pieces in case they have a collision. Freeware just touches the wall. That's given Piloto a bit of overspeed. Don't think it'll be enough quite to get alongside to turn 1. Of course, you've also got to factor in some people might They've gone with a high downforce setup to counter for the corners instead of a low downforce setup for the straight. Freeway goes to the inside. Piloto backed out very early there. I don't know if you caught that, but he backed out very early into turn 1. And now look, he's able to catch. Again, he's very cautious. Yeah, I think this is a bit more cautious than usually. His freeway's gone round, and that's why.
Yeah, that is for that exact reason. It's so hard to go side by side through turn 1 and 2, and even 3 as well for that matter. And it always ends up being mistakes made, either contact from one of the drivers or however it may be. The telemetry on the left is definitely out of whack. I can tell you that for free because Beaker is not P4. He is actually quite considerably further back. It is Aviator currently in P1, Niksana in P2, Pavel P3, and then so on and so forth after that. We will get it fixed when we finish this lap because we are actually on lap 2, not 3. It will update as soon as we get to it.
And I just want to... We have had a fair few mixed condition races where it's been dry one race, wet one race. Imagine the chaos in the second race if it was like full wets.
Oh, Piloto. That was a big hit with the wall there. I think he's got wing damage. Yes, he has. The right end plate is missing. So, not good news for Piloto. He needs to try and keep himself under control a little bit. Not good.
And that's going to get Marquez right in because he hasn't got any damage. And he is, well, obviously, again, the telemetry is not overly reliable, but according to that, about second and a half behind, obviously, as you can see, though, within a second, I would say. So, Piloto is going to be in danger for the next 4 or 5 laps of this race.
Yellow flag at the back, that's Mkasa. He's had a crash.
He's crashed.
That is him out. He will not be progressing with this league race any further. We have Horn Badger on the back of Freeway, who's got his teammate just... not his teammate, sorry. He's got Foxy just ahead. I saw the colours and thinking they are the same, but they're not. Freeway... Oh, Badger! He got caught out by the slow Freeway because of his wing damage, and as a result, Badger's also gone into the wall and had his own wing damage. So he's going to find himself back into the pits as there goes Beaker. There goes Hayden. Hayden on the back of Beaker. I think Beaker might not be coming in. He's decided to stay out. I think he's already replaced that. If he even should need to. Hayden's going to go around the outside here through turn 1. He's going to try it at least. Might get the switch back of Dreams. Beaker's gone deep. Hayden's going to come back down to the inside. Beaker's got no wing on the left-hand side. No end plate, sorry. Hayden backs out. Beaker is giving him sufficient space. A good exit there from both of them to not lose the rear. Hayden's now trying to short shift his way up on the back of Beaker. This may be a lunge. It's going to be a hell of a run if he can get it, but he's going for the outside in turn 3. He's backed out again. Very smartly done there from Hayden. Not trying to find himself any unnecessary damage, but good stuff between these two for now. Whereas up at the front, Aviator and Niksana are proper going for it.
Yeah, I think Niksana's waiting for Aviator to either make a mistake or waiting for the DRS. Obviously, if either of these two get damage in the castle section or any other corner for that matter, as Niksana loses the rear, that's going to give whichever one doesn't make a mistake the advantage. But as you can see by the gap, Niksana is now almost a second behind you to that little slip. So he needs to stay within the second, otherwise I think Aviator's going to run away with this.
And Aviator's not slow. He will absolutely just bolt away. The second opportunity arises. Landers Wilman has just made a move on Dazzler Duck. I think a mistake was made from Dazzler. He is still running as the better of the 3 Ducks, as Raymond Duck is currently at the back having to pit for some super soft tyres. Mini Duck did have an issue off the start, sorry. By the time we got to turn 3, he'd already had a spin. So yeah, he's still going, but Raymond Duck is currently needing to step his game up a fair bit.
Yeah, and is that WG Plays having an issue?
I
don't know what happened. I think it was on his own, but it looked like he just went into the wall, ping-pong to the other wall, and he's lost the left-hand side of his front wing, I believe.
Yeah, he's into the pits. I can't see any of that front wing through the car, so he's very much in need of getting a new one. Niksana, still though, the Aviator, who's not lost out to him at all. He's actually trying to just stay within his DRS range quite nicely because he realizes how important it is to get the overtake done on the final lap, the run up towards turn 1. That's going to be where he wants to get it all done. There's no ERS on these cars, or at least not that you can control, so it's down to how good you can be as a driver. There's no engine mode switches. You just have to be an outright better driver physically.
And at the moment, Niksana is just sizing up Aviator at every single corner. That DRS bringing him well within range again, and now he's just saying, "Oh, do you want to just go a little bit right? Do you want to go a little bit left, and maybe I can sneak my way through?" And again, he slid there, so a lot of drivers are actually struggling out of the castle section. Badger's had a crash out of turn 1. I don't know if that was with another driver on his own. That's very unfortunate for him.
Oh, I'm also watching Hayden and Beaker. Hayden's right on the gearbox of Beaker. Beaker's not really trying too hard to defend. He's giving him sufficient space, but Hayden's not really going for a move. He's just had contact with the wall. He does still have his full front wing. Bit of a back end kick out there means he will not be able to send one into the esports corner. Beaker's at the wall. That's Hayden squeezing through the gap. Oh my word, that was very narrow. Beaker just came back across the track, and there was problems. There's contact between Beaker and Hayden. Oh, there's more contact between them as well. Beaker just clipped his back end, and that is more damage. Hayden gets a 3-second time penalty for a severe collision with Beaker.
Nixana and Aviator.
Yep. Switch places between those two. Aviator's down the inside again, though. He's back into race leader. Nixana holding himself out. He could go for it for turn 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, no, he's to the back of him.
And he's took his wing off.
Yeah, that's damage for Radiator. He's lost the right end plate. And now look at Pavel. He's within a second of these two. He's going to be sniffing blood. These two are having an incident. I could have a go at this.
Yeah, exactly. This is you know, he's happy birthday. Welcome. There's your present. Now go and open it and make sure you get cake later as well, because he's going to be looking to close in as close as he possibly can to these two ahead and just try and sit, kind of like Nixana has been doing up until this last lap, where he's just been hanging in there, just holding on to physical track position. And I think Pavel still has his full front wing. I actually think Nixana has his full front wing as well. I don't see anything missing there. It's just Aviator who's missing that right end plate purely down to that little touch he got from Nixana, which sent him off towards turn 2. It was only a minor one as well. It's just the awkwardness of the corner.
Yeah, and it's the fact that it was propelling him forwards when really you should be slowing down at that point.
Yeah.
And obviously he wouldn't have been expecting it. Look at Pavel, he's actually right up against Nixana, so it won't be smooth sailing for Nixana, even with that damage for Aviator, who was holding his own surprisingly. Maybe Nixana's just holding back a bit, trying not to get any damage on their own front wing. There's also Marquez still behind Piloto, so that'll be good to watch out for as well. But I think we'll keep on these top 3 for now.
Well, the gaps are about 6/10 between Nixana and Aviator, and a bit less than that between Pavel and Nixana. So Pavel might actually have the better toe in terms of the two, but he's not probably going to be able to go for an overtake just yet. They're both going to have DRS. I think Aviator's just trying to shake that slipstream that Nixana's getting currently, and you can see him closing in. He's come out of the toe just because he wants to try and save himself, maybe for turn 3 or maybe for the final lap. We'll have to wait and see. Pavel did close in even more, though, as a result of Nixana stepping out of that toe. Much better for him than Nixana. Pavel needs to choose his lines perfectly. He needs to go for a move on Nixana on the end of this lap, and then go for a move on Aviator on the end of the next lap. But if he has an exit like he's just had there, again, he will not have the opportunity.
No, he seems to be a bit too eager in the braking zones, braking a bit later and then having a bit of a poorer exit, which is really not what you need when you've got DRS coming up. Aviator, again, holding this position well, considering he has damage. But I don't know how much longer he'll be able to hold on. I mean, Nixana, look at him, he's all over the back of him.
Yeah.
He's waiting for a mistake, isn't he?
Yep, he is. He's trying to sniff out, especially with the wing damage that Aviator's got. It's so much harder for him now. The pressure is absolutely on him. Oh, he's so narrow to that wall. It's crazy how close they get to it before they actually, you know, and that's maximizing it as much as they possibly can. If they go that little bit too far, and I'm talking an inch, they can end up in the Charles Leclerc sort of situation.
Yeah. It would just be a bit of a shame for them if that were to be how this battle ends, if any of these guys end up in the wall. It'd be entertaining, don't get me wrong, but obviously not the way any of these guys can end up. As Nixana, I think this is a bit closer than he was the last lap, so he's going to be tucking within that slipstream. Pavel as well, still within half a second. I think he's going to be a little bit too far back, especially with Nixana having DRS, but Nixana, look at him, he's already 3/10 off Aviator, less than 3.5 tenths. He's already got the slipstream, already gaining before the DRS, and here it comes, opens the flap on the rear wing. Will he go left? Will he go right? Where does Aviator want to go? Aviator goes to the inside, Nixana responds and goes to the outside, and that looks like a clean move to me. Pavel, he's looking for a move, but not quite. And does loosen the rear a little bit, hasn't lost too much time. And now, whoa, oh, he's gone for a big dive on Aviator.
That's killed him.
Put him, yeah.
That's killed him. That's a bit too aggressive there from Pavel. I could see what he was trying to do, but the execution was poor, to say the least.
And it's completely cost him the win, because look at him now, he's nearly 2 seconds behind Nixana.
Yeah, I think
and Aviator's
may need a bit of a word after that. That was a bit aggressive, bit unnecessary.
And Aviator's actually in the wall, so I don't know if he's gone into that from a bit of angle, whether he was actually hit into the wall by someone. Because I don't see why he would do that. He would have still got a few points, but now he won't get any. So as Hayden has gone into 8th, oh, imagine Hayden Gullis on pole position.
I know, he'd love that, wouldn't he?
He would be beaming in that expensive sim moves, but he does have damage. I think you said about him getting damage before with Beaker, but I was watching Nixana when that was happening. So Mini Duck still has a chance. I believe he's still... No, he's actually missing his right plate, so both of these guys have damage, just on different sides. Meanwhile, at the front, Pavel's closed up a second to Nixana. Obviously not close enough to make a move, but... I don't know, maybe Nixana made a few mistakes. It looks like he will be keeping the win, though. As that's Tortle just heading ahead of Aviator's DNF body, and I believe that is the end of the battles for now.
Yep, I think that is it, done and dusted. We are obviously on the final lap. Nixana is coming through the ping and pong, and he will be making his way up towards the finish line, and will take himself to complete this Grand Prix for a nice, juicy 25-point victory. Pavel getting P2 controversially, Piloto getting P3, Marquez P4, Lando's Miltman coming up for a P5. Considering how tired he was feeling before we even got into this race, he must be pretty happy with himself after that. Foxy looks to get a P6 with Dazzler Duck coming up behind in P7 and being the better duck overall right now. Hayden Gullis a bit further back, he will be in P8. Mini Duck in P9 with WG Plays getting 10th place. What a good race that was. I mean, again, a couple of issues from a driver or two that need to be addressed. They'll also be picked up offline, but other than that, I think it was a pretty good race.
Yeah, I think a very fitting race for Baku, I think we could say.
Yeah.
No crashes into Castle.
How many did we... we got 6. Technically, you win unless more people retire.
It doesn't look like it so far, unless Raven Duck just wants to chuck it into the wall for some good old banter. But looks like he's keeping it nice and safe at the moment, just wanting to bring the car home. And... oh, nice little slide there from him.
So if Raven Duck could do me a favour and just retire, not for any other reason other than that I win the prediction. He's going to just smash it in the wall now, watch. He's just going to yeet it straight into the wall. Oh, I thought that was it there.
I thought he was about to do it.
You can do it, Raven Duck, to the line. And he's made it. He's made it. There you go. You win. I'll let you take that one. Alright, here we are though. So that is the race. First race out of the way. Driver of the day is Tortor, who actually didn't participate in that race. It was AI throughout. But a really good job from Tortor in the qualifying. Oh no, he actually didn't get P1, did he?
It's classified him as the win.
Oh, is it really?
And apparently he got fastest lap of 17.5 seconds.
I mean, it's impressive, isn't it? Let's be honest. All right, well, ignore what it says there. Tortor didn't actually finish this Grand Prix. Nixana got the win with Pavel in P2. Piloto Paya P3, Marquez P4, Landers Milman P5 with Foxy in P6. Dazzler P7. Hidden was P8, but he's going to actually lose out here because he won't actually get the switcheroo, which he would normally get for pole position in the next one due to the sad game bug, which is that Tortor gaining that position. So, glitching out and getting P1 apparently. Mini Duck finished P9. WG Players getting the 10th place with Roshko in P11. Raven Duck P12. Freeware P13. But he is, I believe, the start of all the DNFers. As Aviator DNF, Beaker DNF, Badger DNF, Amkasa, and Tiger Jr. all DNF from that Grand Prix.
And for if people are interested in the points, Freeware actually got the legitimate fastest lap, being the only one to get a 153. So if we try and add up the totals, we will have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, we will have to bear that for later. Although he is outside the top 10, so he shouldn't actually get the points
good point.
anyway.
So in that case, it would be Pavel?
Have a look. Who got it?
54.3.
312. Yeah, I think so. I don't see anybody else. Oh, no, there's... yeah, Freeway. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's him. So Pavel would get the extra 2 points, which would give him 17. So there's still a chance here then for him. No, he would have got 20 because he was P2.
Yes.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
We'll just give him the extra 2 points to whatever they get in the end. Right. Into the sprint race. It's going to be a lot shorter than obviously than the previous one. I think we're going to 5 laps, I believe. I'll have to check in a second. But the drivers are going to be in the grid boxes right now, getting themselves ready for this final push. And we're not going to have the difference in the weathers. We are going to see both dry races. So with that in mind, Safso, who's your top 1, 2, 3?
I think I'm going to have to see the grid first, to be honest. Because obviously there's no Beaker in the top 8, so that's changed what I would have said. I think I was probably going to say Beaker P2 or 3, had things gone the way I thought they would. But, now looking at it, I think... I reckon Marquez could get a win here. He's in 4th place. Admittedly, he has got Piloto behind him, or alongside even.
Oh.
But he has shown decent pace. He did well in that first race, obviously. I think I'm going to say Marquez, Piloto, Nixana.
Okay, well, we shall see. I want to believe in my boy Dazzler. I think he can actually do well. He might be able to hang in for a P3. He needs to get a clean start. That's the hard part. If he gets sent in towards turn 1, he's going to have issues. But, you know, only he knows, and he won't even know right now. He'll have to wait until we get started into this race. Foxy P2, I suspect that he's going to fall a fair bit because there's a lot of fast drivers that are right behind him. Landos Milton being one of them, who's actually uncharacteristically lower at the end of that last race than he normally would be. So I'm going to say I think Landos will get P2. You know what? I actually think Landos will get the win here, thinking about it. Landos could get P1. Marquez P2, Dazzler P3, I think.
Now that I think about it, that does actually make more sense than my top 3. But I'll stick to my guns. I think my top 3 can pull it off.
Yeah. Okay, then. We'll have to wait and see as they are. I was right, 5 laps, yep. So we are going to be seeing 5 laps in this sprint race. Obviously, the points are reduced. So it will be less points than before. Tor is technically here. He's there in P8, but he's not actually here. So, again, there'll be AI for him. Maybe see the glitch once more that he will apparently finish in P1, despite not actually participating. Piloto Paya, he's somebody who actually... I mean, if you remember back to last season, Piloto Paya was one of the best F2 drivers we've ever seen. I've seen on time trial he was setting world records left, right, and center. He was fantastically quick. But then you come into this season, it's very different. Piloto just seems to be sort of a midfielder. Now, that whether that's the handling model has changed and it's not quite working out for Piloto, or that's whether it's that he's turned his assists down or off, it could be a range of different things. But I would love to see Piloto Paya back in his old groove, back at the front of the grid, scoring some huge times in qualifying. And maybe even one day see Bottas Gang return and actually start to challenge him once more. Because if you remember, Bottas Gang is the only person who has had a perfect weekend. He was very good in these F2 cars. If I could see him do that once more, that would be fantastic.
That would be very grand if he could come out. Maybe for the last race of the season, just a little showdown between whoever's been doing best and Bottas Gang. I think that'd be quite entertaining.
I mean, Beaker has actually shown to be one of the better drivers here in F1 2020 for the F2 cars. So there's a fair few candidates, I would say, have really got to fight for that title to see who can actually take the best F2 driver. But here we are then, lights are on, they've gone out. A bit of a jump start there from a couple of drivers. That is actually AIs, I believe. Pavel's gone through, that's Tortor as well to match that. Having a look through towards turn 1, there was a bit of a scare there. I think that was Pavel. No, it wasn't. That was somebody else further back, as all the telemetry is a little bit messed up. Fox is still up there, Tortor's up there. It was Pavel, in fact, that is all the way up the field. Landos Miltman right at the back of this train. Dazzler has dropped a couple of places. He might be able to hang in for that P3.
Yeah, Dazzler has not had a pole start. In terms of those actually driving his P2, But like you said, he's got Lando's Milkman right behind him, and Marquez has done an absolute dive on Lando's, and has he actually got damage from that? No, he hasn't.
Casa, I think, has actually just gone into the side of Beaker. There's a lot of mistakes being made through turn 3. Beaker has lost his left end plate, from the contact that Amkasa had onto him. Mini Duck is apparently miles back, but there we go. Everything seems to be fixing it slightly. It does appear to be a spectator bug from our end. These drivers should all be able to see where everyone is physically on the circuit. Pelotopai and Toto, they swap places. Toto's starting to fall now that Lando's Milkman is there on the inside. We are away up through Castle. No major crashes in Castle yet.
No, but it does not mean that it's not going to happen at all. As Toto's AI falls further through, but Pavel's AI doesn't seem to be... no one seems to be catching at the moment, so...
There was a big crash between Hayden and WG Players. WG Players had a little bit of a knock coming through the long left-hander, and that caused a bit of a ping-pong movement, where he pinged off of Hayden's car into the wall, and then back into Hayden again, and then back into the wall again, and that's why WG Players' right wing is very damaged. No doubt that's a pit stop for him, and Hayden manages to escape damage, sorry, as Dazzler Duck is looking to regain P3. This is a physical P3 because Marquez has dropped now, and he's also getting towed here from Nixana. Nixana might go for a move. He's going to actually get into the middle of the both of them. We're going to go 3 wide in towards turn 1. It's going to be a deep break. He's actually ghosted. Oh, there's contact! That was, I believe, Foxy getting hit off there. No, it wasn't. Who was that got hit?
That was Dazzler, I believe. Yep, and he's lost his right end plate.
Now, again, the telemetry is messed up on the left-hand side. Ignore it for now. We have to wait until we go on to lap 3, the actual lap 3, not what it says we're on for lap 3, before it will, in fact, fix itself. So give it a bit of time. We shall see. Dazzler Duck going a bit defensive there into it. He has lost, like you said, his right wing, or right end plate, sorry. So he's going to be hindered for every left turn.
Yeah, he's not going to be enjoying life in that respect. So, who is close to each other? So obviously we've got Marquez, Piloto, and Nexana. We've got Foxy actually now starting to catch Pavel's AI finally. So actually Foxy isn't looking too bad to get a win. He's
looking pretty good indeed. I mean, the problem we've got at the minute is everything's so messed up telemetry-wise. We can't really work out who's where and how and what. So we'll have to bear with... Oh, that was nearly a wall there for Foxy. Piloto holding on to the back of Marquez. It's a shame for Dazzler. He was looking so good, and then he just gets a little bit of a knock. Put into the wall from Nixana, trying to go 3 wide. It's very tight, very difficult to do that.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him. It would have been nice to see him fight for at least a podium, maybe even a win, had they been able to catch up to Foxy. So it does look like there's about a 2-second gap. I think the gaps are actually reliable at the moment. Obviously, it will be definitely reliable once we cross the line, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
So Foxy looks like he's about to take the lead, the legitimate lead. But look at Piloto, he's all over the back of Marquez. He goes to the right-hand side. Nixana, he's a fair further back, so I think it's just going to be Piloto and Marquez. Looks like it's a clean move for the bright orange car, but Marquez is still there. No, he's going to back out very wise of him.
Well, actually, that was a bit of a mistake there from Piloto. He hit that curb pretty hard. He didn't actually go off into the wall like I thought he was going to, but still, a bit of a scare there for him. Nixana on the back of Marquez. Yellow flag. That is through Sector 1. That is Dazzler. He's off into the wall. His wing is in bits. And I imagine his race is too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, there we go, the retirement.
Oh, Marquez! Sorry, Marquez just went deep in towards turn 3 and actually put Piloto Pyre off into the wall. That is an end plate missing. This is a bit of a mistake from Marquez there. Nixana's going to try and retaliate.
Yeah, Nixana's going to avenge Piloto. So he goes down the inside. Is he going to try it? It's Nixana, so you never know. No, he does back out. That's actually a little bit surprising, to be honest. I thought he would have at least tried it. But who knows? And he's all over the back of Marquez, really keeping the pressure on. And Lando's Milkman not too far behind. If anything happens between these two... Oh, Marquez has got damage!
Yeah, and that was self-inflicted. Marquez just turned in a bit too early, hit the wall, and yeah, there was nothing he could do there. Lando's Milkman, though, in P5, right on the back of the Pink Panther. Not going to go for a move just yet. I think that's quite wise, especially knowing that we are now on lap 3 and we are going to have DRS. The tow is going to be tremendous, and he needs to get past Marquez as quick as he can, but he also needs to worry about the fact that Marquez is missing an end plate. So coming through Ping and Pong, he's going to have issues for keeping his pace. He may have to lift. If that happens, Lando's Milton might get caught out. And if he does, he's still then got to catch up to Nixana. But no, Ping Pong was okay for Marquez. Lando's Milton should close in pretty quickly.
And something unfortunate for Nixana, it seems that AI of Pavel can actually use DRS. So that's going to make Nixana's job of catching up a little bit harder. As Lando's Milton seemed to be a lot later on the brakes than Marquez, which I think has actually cost him a bit on the exit. Raven Duck has retired. Can't see any crash, so I think that's manual.
I don't know where though.
Yeah. Yeah, for some reason there were a couple of retirements in the first race where it didn't. Yeah.
Aviator looking for Piloto Paya, a limping Piloto Paya, might I add. A bit of a lunge in towards turn 3. Bit of a lock up there too, and he just avoids the wall. There was contact between Piloto and Aviator. It's just such a risky area to go for a dive there. If you get even slightly wrong, you can very much find yourself buried in a wall, or put your opponent, in the wall, and then you're going to find yourself in trouble from the stewards. But Foxy's doing well, and it's going to keep like this for now.
And I actually got deja vu there from when Pavel hit Aviator in the last race, and I thought the exact same was about to happen there, but no damage for Aviator. Piloto obviously keeps his, and Beaker into 8th, so it looks like he might actually still get points despite how these races have gone. Hayden behind him, but no, he's actually not got any damage, so maybe he'll catch up and give him a go. Nixana has actually got past Pavel, so never mind about that being difficult. So Lando's Milkman isn't catching Marquez as quickly as I thought he would be, considering he has a full front wing compared to the Pink Panther's damage.
Indeed. Nixana still though 1.4 seconds away from Foxy. This looking a little bit uncatchable now. He may still be able to close in, but it's going to be a hard run for him. Marquez ahead of Pavel as well. Lando's Milkman is going to be in the tow of both of them effectively. Will have DRS, that's for sure, so should be able to close in quite nicely, and Pavel is, I can't tell if he's just lagging backwards or what it is, but he's falling very up. There you go, another one. Further and further back. Lando's Milkman very close. Pavel has had an issue, I think. No, that is Roshko who's got the yellow flag in Sector 2. Beaker in P7 now. Oh, Piloto's had a mistake. Beaker's through. Nice easy overtake. And up now into P6.
Yep, and with that DRS, he shouldn't have to worry about being attacked unless Piloto goes for a very light dunge, which I don't think he'll go for. No, he's fine. So that is Pika up to P6 as he now goes chasing after Aviator. Whether he'll catch him, considering it's the last lap, who knows? And now Lando's Milkman is all over the back of Marquez, so as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, it should be a drag race to the end. And Nixana is now within a second of Foxy.
And we are on the final lap, so this is going to be crucial here. This is going to be Foxy having to defend for his life coming through that final sector. He has to get it just right, otherwise Nixana will go for a move, and I can guarantee you, if there's a crack of a window, he's in it. So watch out for that. Marquez 2 and a bit seconds behind, so P3 is basically between Marquez and Lando's Milkman, and that penalty may have just sealed P3.
Yeah, unless Lando's has a penalty of his own, which I'll quickly check. No, he doesn't. So as long as Lando's keeps it clean, he will have P3. So now the main battle is Nixana all over the back of Foxy. He's caught him incredibly quickly, and Foxy's made a mistake in the exit. Nixana purposely did not go past in order to keep the slipstream DRS.
Yeah, because Foxy could have very easily come right back at him. As Nixana made a mistake, the gap is increasing ever so slightly. This might be a bit too much now for Nixana to do. Foxy may be able to hold him back. It's going to be all about this toe. It's going to be about the DRS ring bind up, and they're coming so close to the line. Nixana, Foxy goes to defend. He's close, but it's not enough. Nixana gets it. What? Foxy falls to P2, and Lando's Milkman gets the final step of the podium.
When he said Foxy got the win, I was very confused for him right now.
No. Nixana gets the win. It was so close though between them. Yeah. I mean, especially with, I thought, when I saw Nixana having to lift to get through Ping Pong, it was so close between them. I really didn't think he was going to get it, but 0.06 of a second was all it was, and Nixana does take the win away from Foxy. Very quick snatch there, and job's a good one.
Yep. But second place for Foxy, absolutely not bad at all, considering I think we were both saying he wouldn't be on the podium. He's completely proved us wrong.
Yeah, it really has. So it's going to be WG Plays next in to cross the line, although Mini Duck is
Or
in
is it?
14th place because he is in
Another
the
track
turn.
race.
Could potentially get it. I think it's a bit too far back, or is it? Oh, again, another close one. That's even closer than the previous one. Almost 300ths of a second separating those two. And Mini Duck is the... Actually, in this race, he's technically the better Duck.
Yep. He's the only one who's finished. And to finish first you have to finish.
I mean, it's not through performance, because Dazzler was actually still the better performing one out of the three of them. But unfortunately, Dazzler did get executed, shall we say, in towards turn 1. And there's not much more he can do.
No, I don't think there was anything he did there. I think it was purely him being hit, as Rwaggy is finally going to come to the line and end the second race.
And that's it for the F2 cars. We'll get a rundown. Well, it's going to be a messed up rundown because of Toto apparently finishing in P1 in the last one. Did make it very difficult to figure out. But driver of the day, Aviator. I actually don't know who I'd give driver of the day to myself, to be honest. I would have said Nixana, but after murdering someone, I don't think you can give someone the driver of the day after that.
No. Possibly Aviator. He went from 15th to 4th. I know he's literally just given driver of the day, but very good performance. Possibly Beaker, actually. 16 to 6 and with damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, he had a hell of a run. I think both races, Beaker has been the standout driver. I think he's been the better of all of them. I think he's just been caught up in instance, you know, whether it be his fault or not is one question or another, but still. I think Beaker, for me, is the driver of the day. He definitely deserved it from his pace. Just a shame he got caught up in too many incidents. But at the end of that Grand Prix, it's Nixana getting P1, Foxy P2, Landos Mumma getting P3 with Aviator P4, Marquez P5, Beaker P6, Pelota P7, Pavel P8, Badger P9 with Hayden getting the final point, or it would have been the final point if we went in the sprint race. Toto, best of the rest. I'm Casa P12, WG Players 13th, Mini Duck 14th, Tiger Jr. 15th, Roshko 16th, Freeware 17th, Raven Duck, and Dazzler in 18th and 19th place. Now, I will show you it regardless, but it is going to be messed up due to Toto apparently having 25 points in the first race, which he didn't actually get. But that's it for the F2 cars. Don't go anywhere, because in just a moment we will be switching over to the F1 race. And I can tell you now, this one is going to be a blinder. Stay tuned.